The mic drop.
If the men don't come together to create and to do things, whether it's, helping this brother out or doing, because I know the power of black men. I've experienced it. It's changed my entire life.
Yes.
To the point where I don't never have to get a job anymore based on what's in my phone.
Mic drop. What's up, Mike Droppers? It's your boy Big Mike, man. Back once again. And we got a very special guest on the show today. We have the one and only Mr. Oshay Duke Jackson. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me, bro. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you. It's been a pleasure meeting you, man. I'm glad you decided to come by the Big Mike Drop. And I wanted to kind of help my crowd to what you got going on. And I'll start by telling the crowd that I first came onto your channel from Kevin Samuels because he kept mentioning you on his show. So I'm like, check out Oshay Duke Jackson and see what's going on. So then I went to the celebrity junk and started checking those out. 9-10 minutes, and you just basically dropping the tea about the celebrities, but you're putting the interest and the spin on it. So with that being said, we have this concept of what we like to call a manosphere. And in that you are the architect of that concept. Am I correct?
I'm one of them.
You're one of them. Okay.
Yeah.
What exactly is it? Because they're making it seem like it's something that's a threat, but I'll let you explain.
Well, so when I came into black YouTube, or the black male side of YouTube, was about the end of 2014, 2015. And I was just kind of talking about issues that maybe black men may face, or issues the black community may face, and stuff like that. But around that time, you had some guys that was known as just the Manosphere, which was like, Rouge V, Rollo Tomasi. They had a site called The Return of Kings, Aaron Cleary. Most of these guys were Caucasian. In fact, that's where Donovan Sharp got his start off. He was over there writing for them. So when I was hip to Return of Kings, I saw how they were doing things. I was like, wow, this is interesting. There's nothing like this for black men. And so then what happened was there was a guy named Obsidian Media Network. Okay. I would say the current version of the Manosphere, he's like the Peter. Like he's like, on my rock, I build this church. So he's that guy. He's the guy that we got the template from. Black men needed their own media. There needed to be a voice for the everyday brother. Now you're seeing somebody like Kevin Samuels come out and talk about high value black men from that perspective. But the first guy to really come out with the everyday black male experience was Obsidian Media Network. Okay. So we kind of latched down to that, and we found out that a lot of our guys were going into some of the MGTOW communities and chat rooms, or trying to participate, and then they would face forms of racism online or in Reddit forums, stuff like that. So then that's when we started to build the community over here. On YouTube and other places, talking about the things that black men face. So whether it be issues, whether you have black men that traveled abroad, there was information specifically for African-American men for that. Now you have guys who talk about black men and, in entrepreneurship, professional school programs, PhD programs. Now you have our, guys like Dr. Ronald Neal, Dr. T.S. Johnson. You have, professional lead attorney, pocket watchman JT. Yes. So they became a community of guys that represented everybody, from the guy who was unemployed, from the guy who was, oncologist like Dr. Kenyon Meadows. Right. So it just formulated over for the black sector of the manosphere, guys that just in the main society that just couldn't get a break or couldn't get their issues heard, that developed as a community over years.
Right. So I'm looking at. I did a show called The Black Man's Revenge, and I think that I think I had this whole concept in mind. So Dr. Cornel West was describing jazz at one point in time, and how jazz comes together. But he described jazz as the ultimate form of democracy, which every instrument is playing its own part. Every instrument is equally important, and that sounds like what the Manosphere is. It's like basically dudes that are bringing their specific skill sets to the table, and putting them to work for black men in particular. What would you say your skill set is?
Well, shout out to Cornel West. He's from Sacramento, which is my city.
Okay, Sacktown.
Went to the legendary Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church in Oak Park. So, I would say for me, at the very most empirical level, the thing that I've been able to contribute to the black sector, our black YouTube, our Black Manosphere community, is I'm the guy that brings people together. That's been what I've been able to do. I've been able to work with a lot of black men where they're at, and because a lot of our guys can be hard to deal with. Right. A lot of our brothers don't come from different single parent homes and things like that.
Right.
So a lot of our guys wanted to work with each other, but didn't know how to do it. We had black men who were in the conscious community. A lot of the Manosphere talking points was really strong against things that women do. So you had a lot of brothers that were even from the strong Pan-African, didn't believe that black women was the problem. So you had guys like that, but they wanted to be a part of it. You had guys who didn't want to get married. You had guys that saw things, the guys who were conservatives, guys who were liberals. So, so it was working with every different personality where they were at. And trying to build a community on, what I know we disagree with all of those things, but then bringing together black men and what do we agree on? And that's been the one distinctive skill that I've had because, hey, Kevin Samuels is one of my close friends. Hey, man, Kevin Samuels ain't easy to work with all the time, right? Kevin is he's a complicated man, just like we can be. Right. But the guy where Kevin is, I know how to deal with Kevin. I talk to Kevin almost every other day. Kevin, you got to deal with Kevin where he at. Because that's the only way he's going to deal with you. He ain't going to deal with you no other way, whether before he got famous. But I understand how to respect guys where they're at. And that's been my saving grace, working with black men online, working with black men in the public. Because I've done the same thing with some guys in Africa. Black men just want respect. And if you can give it, you have that ability to work with them.
Absolutely. This to me seems like the counter movement. And I think I had mentioned to you before that I feel like you're a social engineer. I don't know if you look at it in that scope, but what you're doing and what you're facilitating is basically could be one of the greatest social projects for some of the most downtrodden people ever. So, is this, I look at it as this is our real Black Men's Lives Matter movement. You know what I'm saying? It's not the knockoff that got all the money. You know what I'm saying? Shout out. Yeah. And this is actually the foundation for a lot of brothers, man, young brothers especially. And I listen to a lot of you guys, man. I draw my influence from a lot of you. A lot of your stuff, a lot of your material, a lot of your concept, some of your techniques. We talked about that before, being big mad and things like that, just things that little nuances, man, from each and every one of you that you bring. And I try to incorporate those into my show as well. You have guys that go all the way from the far reaches, and then you got, people that are more, center. And people that are more, technically proficient, like the lead attorney or pocket watcher, with JP, pocket watcher with JP, correct?
JT,
pocket watcher with JT. All right, make sure y'all go check that out too, fam. Yeah, man. Really dope, man. Y'all had a good interview. But I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts about where this fits into history? Have you thought about it on that level, or is it something planned, or kind of just happening?
Well, you know what? Ramil said that. He said that, what's going on over here should be going down in Black history. But I want to say, as much as I complained about Kevin Samuels being complicated, but I want to give him a big shout out because one of the things I love about what Kevin Samuels has done for our community, which is on the Black Manosphere community, is once he became successful, he reached back and got all of us. The reason why I'm talking to you today is because of him, right?
Right.
And And the thing about what I like about him so much and other guys like that, they realize that we all as a team are have to work together and do things despite our own personal issues, despite not we have to do things together as a group. We're better as a group, right?
Absolutely.
And that's something that Kevin has done. And I know I'm talking a lot about him, but that's how our community is getting known right now in the world, right? And I think that with this social engineering experience, it showed us that because when we were doing the Black Manosphere, it wasn't a lot of money involved and stuff like that, but really it showed us about how important the community is to have value,
right?
And working with guys, working with our different brothers, trying to provide value for them, being consistent. We found out that Black men support just like anybody else.
Yep.
If you're good and you give them what they want, they're just as loyal as anybody else. Right. They're just as it could be just as supportive as anybody else. So I think that this experiment, reaching back and working with different guys, I brought in so many guys through my channel. A lot of the greats that you guys see now have come through me in some form or another. Most of them, about 90%, about 80%.
Okay.
Outside of a few, Obsidian also, he brought a lot of guys in.
Okay.
But working with these guys, it just shows that, hey, bring your brother up. And when you bring somebody up, man, they bring you up. I can't even tell you. When Kevin Simmons had his 1 million subscriber party, I went over to I said, man, thank you for what you do for me.
Yes.
And that's what we are seeing. I've never seen Black men able to really come back and say, hey, brother, it's because of you that I'm able to do what I'm able to do now.
Right.
And that's the beauty. Social media, like, hey, you know what? Now I have 10 guys on my phone that's African-American men that I can actually call or do business with or get advice. And that's something I wasn't able to do before. So I think that's what we're starting to see, that, well, if we can do this on a small scale, what's the biggest opportunities? What else can we do?
Right. Well, with that being said, you currently are outside of the United States.
Yeah, I've been outside the United States since 2015.
Okay, and you're in Poland? Yeah,
now I'm in Poland.
Okay. How do you like Poland?
Well, I like it for the fact there's certain things I like about it. Obviously, it's modern.
Okay.
It's in the European Union, so it's modern. The price is pretty good. It's cheap and it's safe, right? You can get everything. You can get access to other places and stuff like that. I like that about it. I was in Uganda for a year last year. Okay. I love Uganda. I like Poland. I really love Uganda. Man, the power was going out every 5 minutes, man. It was crazy. It was, the mosquitoes was getting to you and things like that. But I've enjoyed it here. I've grown up a lot here. I think that what me being here was, in America, Black men don't get no help. Here, you really ain't gonna get no help, right? So if you don't learn how to work with people and lean on people where you at, you're gonna suffer here. You're gonna suffer here. So you have to really work on those interpersonal skills. You have to really work on those networking skills, and that's what it's either sink or swim. When you live in some place that don't nobody care about you, don't nobody know you're a foreigner,
right?
And you're Black in a pretty much of a homogeneous population like here. So that's what I liked about it, because it made me go to another level that I would have never, I don't think, reached in America.
Now, do they know you over there? How's your message received over there? Are they familiar with your work?
Not necessarily. I mean, people who might go to my school might know something about me, or people who know my, in the city, but that's not, my content is really for the Black community. I've never had anybody stop me on the street that was like Polish, unless I did a vlog in Poland or something like that. But for the content, it's for the Black community. No Polish person never talked to me about that for the most part.
And that's why I brought that up, because we are looking at something that has a potential worldwide reach.
Yeah.
So that's what I was wondering. I'm sure they're listening to Kevin Samuels over in Poland.
Yes. Now, Kevin Samuels is something that's a little bit more digestible, because it covers relationships, even though he's really into the African American core audience.
Right.
But I think that the issues that Kevin is not just in the Black community anymore. Kevin is everywhere now. And a lot of guys are going through the same things that Kevin talks about, of any race in the Western world. So definitely anybody could watch him, and it relates to, he's more relatable. Right. Whereas for me, it's more niche for what I do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, celebrity junk, man, is dope, man. I like it, man. I like the way you have it put together. I have one question about that though. Has any celebrities ever confronted you? I know nobody will confront you in Poland, but I mean online about any of your drops.
FBG Ducks, mama.
I saw that. I saw about
shows recently. But I do, most of the 99% of the time they don't, but definitely I know because like there are certain ways on YouTube you can go and look at who's watching you. So I know like Vlad TV watches me. I know the Breakfast Club watches me.
Right.
Certain people. I've gotten a few Instagram shout outs here and there for certain people. But I just had about maybe like 2 or 3. One person, one IG model, but most people, they won't really, threaten you or nothing like that. Cause I don't really drag them too bad.
Right.
Now like Tasha K be dragging them for real. You know what I mean? Shout out to her.
Shout out Tasha K. Yeah, absolutely. I watched
Tasha K will drag it. Yeah. So I never got it till it was that bad. But I've had a few, reach out to me and stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, at least to give you an opportunity, let them know what's on your mind.
Right.
Especially if they reach out in the, individual message or, DM message or whatnot. That's dope. I like what you do, man. I like the spin that you put on it. It's not like and I said celebrity gossip, but that's for a lack of a better term. The name of the show is Celebrity Junk, ladies and gentlemen, just to reiterate that. But it takes the celebrity experience and kind of turns them into valuable lessons. That's the difference between this and gossip.
Right.
Is gossip doesn't ever really give you anything to go home with of any substance. You just get the gossip and you go home. They call it tea for a reason because you ain't gonna get you gonna get full
exactly.
Right. So, I mean, did you come up with that, or did you draw inspiration from somebody to kind of put that spin on it? I guess I should ask.
Yeah. So there's a brother named Jada Black. I don't know if you heard of him before.
I heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah, Jada Black. He's been associated with the ministry, kind of a guy that's kind of a little bit to himself, but he's a nice guy. I worked with him before, and he was the first guy that I saw doing celebrity. And I used to work with you may have heard of the guy called the African Diaspora channel.
Yeah, Phil.
Yeah. So I used to work with Phil because I had my Kenganda YouTube channel, and Phil had the Phil Scott Shaw was on there for a few months and stuff like that.
Okay.
And me and Phil was talking one day about getting into celebrity because a lot of times big YouTubers behind the scenes, if we collaborate, I work with African Diaspora for about maybe 18 months behind the scenes.
Okay.
And that was a good experience. Shout out to them. I don't work with them anymore, but I learned a lot about the business. I'm pretty sure you learned a lot from me. So like I said, anytime you can work with somebody doing better than you, it really, really helps. So we both were plotting on coming to celebrity. And my first thing was called Dusty News. And so I was doing, I do that sometimes still, but not as much as I used to. But to make a long story short, Jada Black was doing audios, and I saw people doing like Paris Milan, Lovely T. People was doing, recording, and then they were adding the pictures and stuff like that. So, and I was always doing it on video. I said, well, let me go to this format. So we started, using on audio Audition, but then basically with my way of doing it, because I catered the celebrity junk. Because Jada Black is more of a red pill version of celebrity, but I wanted to cater it to the African American male experience.
Right.
I'm the only person that has that niche here on Black YouTube. Yeah. So then I added some of my comedy to it and some of the other things. Some of my editors are really funny. So then that's how we started building up that particular system. So the majority of my content will be like celebrity junk. But I still have, like I did an interview with you.
Yeah.
Like we do a live stream for. So I have some pretty balanced stuff coming. But that's how Jada Black and the African Diaspora Network. Those were the two people that really got me into celebrity and kind of the trending stuff.
Okay, word.
I used to didn't do that.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Phil Scott. I'm a long-term fan. I don't know him yet, but I'm a long-time fan of Phil's stuff. I like the way he has it set up. Really.
Oh yeah.
To know that you had a part to do with that, that's awesome, man. I could tell that. You had mentioned it a couple of times on your channel.
Yeah. I worked with them for and it was I'll tell anybody trying to get in the business. He's working with YouTubers that are really successful. Anybody in the business, if you could work with them, it's definitely a good advantage. So I've worked with a lot of great YouTubers, which has allowed me to do what I'm doing now.
Okay. Nice, man. So I have a problem with Vicky Dillard at this point in time.
She reached out to you?
She ain't reached out, man. Vicky called me crazy, man. One time, man. She literally came at me in the comments like, you crazy. And all I did was told her that, look, you should talk to Kevin Samuels. I said, you have the reach. You could probably get him on your show and y'all could really probably discuss and maybe build. That's back when I thought she wanted to build. Mm-hmm. And then she told me I was crazy. I take offense to that because I don't just hurl, people, you crazy. You don't want to deal with that with, mental illness type of talk and, discrimination mm-hmm. and things like that. That's a word that's kind of being phased out when you talk to people. I took offense to it, but I'm really getting more offended for Kevin, for yourself, because, she put you out there too as well on one of her thumbnails. I don't know if she talked about you because I didn't listen to it, but
Who was this? I didn't know this.
This was about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Remember when she came out? So when she came out, she came out on Kevin Samuels about the petition.
Okay.
And then you said something about her,
mm-hmm.
and being upset about
mm-hmm.
it. I forgot the name of it. I'm sorry, forgive me. But you came out and you made a celebrity jump about her, Dr. Boyce Watkins, because you had some nice voiceovers on there.
Yeah.
Somebody talk black to me. Talk black to me. Yeah, she answered the phone. So then after that, she posted that thumbnail on her IG saying basically haters. I have to go back and pull it up, man. I don't want to.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, okay. Look that up, man. It was literally just last week. But I'm trying to wonder. I'm figuring why are we running into problems with the grassroots community with some of the ideas that we're putting forth?
I did a show with Dr. Tierson Johnson, and Dr. Tierson Johnson. I don't know if you've heard of him before, but Dr. Tierson Johnson, who was brought in through the Obsidian Media Network, he is Black masculine studies expert. He teaches over at California State University, Fresno.
I saw him, Dread. He was on Kevin. He was on Kevin Samuels. They did an interview.
Yeah. He's probably the. He's one of the. If we would have a think tank in the Black Manosphere, he would be one of the people that we would invite. Right? He's a very smart man. But here's the situation that he expressed. No matter how pro-Black a woman is, she still grows up, in this particular society. Where you have you're influenced by the West, okay, right. And that's just really the reality. And Vicky Dillard, no matter how much she wants to not look at it, she's influenced by the times that she lives in. So are we, right? We're talking over internet connection,
right?
And for a lot of women, that if men tell you, exactly how they feel, for some of them, that's just. It's too pervasive, or it's too bad, or it's in other words, Black men should really deal with women as they are, and you should just not say anything about it, right? And I think that's the reality of it, and that's how a lot of Black men have been for so long. Just okay, she's doing this or whatever, and then you need to do everything for her, but her issues that she have, then you're not able to talk about her issues straight down the line. Because Black women, if we really want to be honest, they can come out on TV and say about you gay, you lazy, you don't take care of your kids.
Absolutely.
They say all of these things, and then then Black men come on and say, well, you're overweight, you got too many kids by too many different dudes, your attitude is bad, you're entitled, you want what you cannot get. Now at that point, you're being abusive, you're a misogynist. And the reality is that how dare Black men have the same standards for themselves and express it that women have?
Right.
But the thing about it is, you got to look at who she's associated with. Vicky Dillard is associated with a Black woman apologist, which is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Right. Now, I believe that women should be treated with the utmost respect. But at the end of the day, Black women are going to have a problem with a man that says, if you don't do what you're supposed to, you're getting out.
Right.
You have to go. Okay, because what they used to is a black man, hey, not number one, not even having his own stuff, living off of her or basically sleeping on the couch. Those days are gone for a lot of brothers, especially my age or younger. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, you're out.
Right.
That's the end of the story, and that's very adamant. You don't do what you're supposed to do, you're gone. There's a buts about it. You are gone. I'm going to replace you for somebody else. And that's it. Ain't no coming back. Now, it's easier said than done. We all know that as men, right? It's easier said than done, depending on how good you look. But somebody like Vicky, they don't want to hear black men say that. And the reality is a lot of black men are tired of not speaking up for themselves. At what point are these guys going to be going what they're going through and our issues can't be vocalized? Hey, if you're a woman that has 2 kids by 2 different women, 2 different guys, and you're talking about a guy that is making over $107,000 a year in a city like Atlanta, well, what do you expect he's supposed to do? Obviously, I'm going to be honest and tell you, boo, you don't really have that much of a chance.
Right.
You have all these simps talking about, oh, you can't. What'd you say?
They're going to pick all over you. Like the dudes, they're going to pick all the other women around you in Atlanta.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Talking about in any city that a black man is doing well. We gotta have an honest conversation. Black men in any black place. I don't care if it's Kampala, Uganda. I don't care if it's Johannesburg. I don't care if it's Washington, D.C. A black man that is doing well for himself, he knows that. He knows what options he got.
Right.
We're going to stop playing around like we don't know. A black man who's doing very well for himself, he knows what he got out there available to him. He might not say it because he don't want to get fired or he don't want to have but he know.
Right.
The guys who got money talk behind the scenes, and what they say behind closed doors is different than what they say on the media.
Right.
Kevin Samuels is the first guy that got national recognition. Because a lot of guys have been standing over here for a long time. But he just took it to another level in the ways that women can understand it. If you don't do what you're supposed to do in competing for the men that you want, you're going to get left behind.
Vicky did bring in somebody to counteract Kevin.
Okay.
Derek Jackson. They did.
What was he saying? They had a show?
I didn't watch. I wasn't finna pay for that. You had to pay for it. It's like some kind of course that he was gonna come.
I know they was doing it, but I didn't watch it.
Man, I didn't watch it, man. Is it out there live or is it something?
I don't know. It's supposed to be in August sometime, but
it was yesterday, August 7th.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went up to Lexington, Kentucky this weekend to meet with some of my old Air Force buddies. Man, I ain't seen these guys for like 20 years. I mean, just dude time, So I shut the internet down. The only thing I did was I sent the email to you, but I shut the internet down, man. And we got on this good bourbon, and we just did our thing. We got on this good bourbon. Hey,
right?
Yeah, I had to get some.
I know that's right.
Yeah, so I didn't get a chance to check it out, but I thought it was tacky. I guess that's the word. I'll go back to my grandmama's vocabulary with that. That was just tacky to kind of bring that dude out here to present him as I guess he would be the antithesis of Kevin Samuels. I mean, honestly, it's almost like we're going to, present you the exact opposite of Kevin Samuels as a remedy to Kevin Samuels. It's weird, man.
Well, see, the thing about it is that now what you're seeing on social media is kind of a new chapter in the fact that we don't need, let's say, because back in the day, in most businesses in the black world, in the black community, you need that cater to women to earn.
Right.
But I think the Black Manosphere is one of the newest outlets where you don't need to have women in the audience at all.
Right.
To earn, to make business now. Right. And it's not needed. So if you don't need women to earn, as long as you're not, disrespecting them or anything like that, then you can really be honest and brute about, not brute, but you can be honest about having conversations. And so the Black Manosphere has never gotten any money really for the most part from women.
Right.
Some might super chat here and there, but for the most part, that we've created somewhat of a digital economy that doesn't include women and don't need them.
Okay.
90% of the people that watch me are men. So the thing is, guys like Boyce Watkins and the other guys, Umar Johnson, in order for them to do what they do, they need to pander to women. And the thing about it is this, and as much as I love women in our community, the pandering to the sisters has really set them back. It has really created a lot of weak men. We see a lot of these in the last 50 years. The black community has been pandering to African-American women. And you don't have the men that will build your businesses, the men that will build your homes.
Right.
You don't have the men that can collect and protect your community, stuff like that. Things that women actually need. Women benefit from having men that know what they're doing. When you pander to women and you don't create these guys, then you don't have anything. And these women that, they have degrees and they have education and stuff like that, which I'm very much in support of.
Right.
But a lot of these women are dying early. You're getting a lot of diabetes and overweight and stressed out with the work and trying to take care of their mother themselves and stuff like that. They don't have any help. Women are in the best position when they have help. And what the manosphere would like to do is to create Black men that are able to help women and create families. I might now our goals might be too late now, but that's what the manosphere would like to do. The Black manosphere is about bringing the Black community, in my opinion, together. And this is what you see Kevin Samuels doing. What do you hear Kevin Samuels? Man, you said yourself on my show. Me and my wife watch Kevin Samuels all the time. You hear people saying, I had a buddy, shout out to High Def. He is from Virginia. He was telling me that his coworker said that Kevin Samuels, if he ever sees Kevin Samuels, he gonna give him all the money in his pocket because Kevin Samuels' content has changed his marriage. It has allowed. So you have Kevin hooking up people. Because women real deep down want men who are strong, want men who are progressive. But if you have a woman like Vicky Dillard, if you have a woman that's pushing that kind of stuff, a lot of successful guys are not going to go for that. Right. We're just going to be honest. Okay, a lot of successful guys are, we understand as men, you have to be accountable for your actions of what you do. Yeah. So you can't do everything that you want to do and then expect me not to do nothing. That's what a lot of sisters, I feel, in today's world, do whatever they want to do. And then a guy is still supposed to support them. No, you can't do that. That's not how the life works.
I saw it. I've seen it firsthand, man. I've seen it firsthand. I wanted to ask you this. Mm-hmm. So a word that's being thrown around about the manosphere, and I think this is the misconception because people are using the wrong type of descriptors when they're talking about it.
But let me just say this. The MIS prefix means hatred. So if you have a misandrist or mishatred of one sex, are you trying to keep women lower than men? Now, let me just say how you can't even use that in the Black community. We all know that women rule the Black community. They've been ruling Black men for years. Yes. Okay. So I don't think what Black men are trying to do, because most of us were raised by women. Most of us love our mother, our grandmothers, right? And that might be a little bit different from the white manosphere, even though I don't think that's their overall claim. But when it comes to the African-American male community, we have been dominated by our women in our community for the most part. Some of them are even our pastors. They tell us what to do. They teach us in school. They tell us, you go here, you go here, you go here. And then, the most of us bust our ass for our life trying to take care of mama. Okay. Right. So when you talk about misogyny or hatred of women or wanting to have them on a lesser scale than you, that's not the case. The reality is that a lot of guys, if they have a hatred, it's for some characteristics that some sisters have in our community, right, which is hating the entitlement, which is hating the talking back, which is hating the fact that you think you're better than me because you went to college, right, and you don't need no man and you can do bad all by yourself and you want me to have the stuff that you don't have. Black men are hating some of the characteristics that sisters have over the year that have been pejorative, that not only do we see, other groups see it too. It's not just Black men. So it's a difference between hating one's gender or strongly disliking how one acts. Not all sisters have this problem, but this behavior that you're better than me because you did this, or you more educated than me, or you know everything and I don't. And I'm beneath you because you're a Black woman and you are to be given and I'm a Black man and I ain't shit. Right. Okay. So if you look at, nobody's saying women ought to be this or women ought to be on a lesser, you don't even hear that. But the fact is that these characteristics that Black men are talking about, they are true. I mean, from a little boy, bad customer service, from a little boy in the barbershop, this is something that has been repetitive and talking points, even probably since slavery. Okay. It's been something that's been talked about. Now, one thing is that I will say for Black men, we definitely can do a lot of a better job of having ownership of things in our community to make women respect us more. That's something that we don't do, that Black women have a strong point. But when it comes to the day-to-day Black men, I don't care who you are, how educated you are, Black men are going through the same things with Black women on every level. Yeah. Especially those sisters who are coming out of single parent homes. They've never seen a husband. They don't know how long-term relationships have. They don't understand the importance of respecting men. That is what Black men hate. Black men don't hate Black women. Black men hate some of the characteristics that Black women elicit in their behavior from time to time. And some of that is, being a woman, but some of that, like the disrespect for men, our tonality, or just talking back, or cutting through a Black man's heart deep. Hey, man, this is still a man. You got to have some kind of, you can't talk to him like that, right, and expect that man to go out and provide for you. That's the fundamental issue here. So when people want to talk about, like you look at Ebony or Madame Noir, no, that man doesn't hate you. That man doesn't hate women. That man is bringing to the core of the argument of the attitudes and the problems that many sisters in America have, and you see it all the time. I'm better than you. You ain't shit. You good enough for me to sleep with you, but you still ain't shit. Right. Oh, I'm sorry, but then you ain't shit. Okay. Right. And you don't make enough money. You're not tall enough. You're not this and that. Who you think you are, all that kind of stuff. And you expect that some guy should stop what he's doing and come deal with you. And you might have a kid or two or three. You're not even on the same level, equally yoked for what you're asking for. So when a Black man addresses that, then their response is, you hate Black women. How? No, let's talk about, and to be honest, this is the reason why Black men don't even talk to Black women anymore in some kind of discussion, because they some of them are just so emotional that right, we could talk about what Black men need to work on. Right. But once we talk about what issues that Black women have, then it is a fundamental problem. It turns into misogyny. It turns into we want to cancel you, all kind of stuff, which is why I don't even talk to them. Right. On a professional, yeah, but it's not about hate. We love our people, but see, Black women can love us and tell us that we ain't shit, we ain't all this, but we cannot love them and hold them accountable for the things that we see as wrong. Because once we do that, that's called misogyny.
And think about it. Since when did holding somebody accountable become hatred? And that's why I brought up the words, man. I'm a big proponent of intellectual honesty, and you'll hear me use that word a lot. And I feel like when you start getting somebody that's too emotional, they're fundamentally going to be intellectually dishonest. They're not going to be able to, see your side of the story. You see it all the time on Kevin Samuel's show. And I'm gonna wrap it up. I think that's my biggest problem with Vicky and what they got going on over there is it's just intellectual dishonesty, man. And you're attacking another brother that's trying to do good work out here. You're trying to do good work out here. At what point in time are we gonna have to kick to get empowered? Or are we really gonna have to go to war with our own women in our own community first before we can even start tackling issues like white supremacy? I mean, it looks like all the white people may die off while we're still trying to figure out things in our community. Like white supremacy is getting real slim. It's almost to the point where it can't be an excuse anymore for not doing. But we are having a gender war that's heating up. It was cold for a while, but it's heating up right now.
I think with the emergence of Kevin Samuels and putting the highlight on guys like myself and other people, I think the reality is this. Outside of dealing with what's going on in the gender wars, I think the reality is that a lot of African American men need to really start to work together to build that professional network, to build things. If we're talking about what sisters are doing, I get that too. That's a problem. But if the men don't come together to create and to do things, whether it's helping this brother out or doing, because I know the power of Black men. I've experienced it. It's changed my entire life. Yes. To the point where I don't never have to get a job anymore based on what's in my phone right now or who I know. Right. So the power of men is something that is it's a juggernaut. So once Black men understand that, you can create things for yourself. You can get things done. I think that's what men have to do. Be progressive. The women that want to deal with you will, and those that don't want to deal with you just won't. Right. So that's you can only deal with what's available to you. Now
Right.
you can increase your chances as you are more productive.
Right.
You know, because where I was today wasn't where I was 6 years ago. So I have more opportunities for myself. So I think that black men fundamentally at that core, at the very empirical level, stop worrying necessarily about, do we have to get it right with them? Because the reality is that those who are in the middle, and if you're progressing, a woman's nature is to want to be with the men that are progressing. And if black men are progressing, you know, you're gonna have sisters that's gonna come over there, but we're gonna have to be able to offer sisters, and that's something I talk to black men about. You can't be offering her nothing and expecting everything. You're just as bad as she is.
Right.
So if you're able to do that, you give yourself a better chance. Those women who don't like what black men are doing or whatever, then then they can just do whatever they're doing. So you don't have to fight. You don't have to fight any battles. Fight the battle within the black male community. You know, provide resources for your people. Provide resources to other men. A lot of black men don't have any help. We need to pull our guys up. And once we can do that, then the women will understand it, and the women that want to come around and then do. That's the main thing that we got to do. Instead of trying to get them to help us do something, the men have the responsibility to go in. I was talking to Brother George Macon. He said, well, who comes in and gentrifies other communities? Other groups of men do that. They don't have their women coming in there. They
Right.
bring the white men come in. So then we have to be progressive. We have to be, as men, competing. The women who want to appreciate that will. Those who don't won't. And if they don't, then that's fine. But you can't get anything done without being successful.
You're
And
right.
black men have to be successful
You're right.
to get anything done in America or Africa, wherever you are. Black men have to, at the very empirical level, at the very base root, be successful.
Man, I appreciate this, man. I appreciate that information, man, and thank you for. I'm sure my audience appreciates that information.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to be here, brother, and I thank you for having me on. I'm definitely gonna share this with my channel, and we'll do it again sometime.
Let's do it again, man. I enjoy meeting you, brother, and like I say, my hat's off to you, and all due respect to you for what you're doing. Anything I can do to help, or even if you catch me off code, I wanted to talk about codifying the manosphere, but maybe we'll have that conversation.
Yeah, we can probably do that. Yeah, probably with them. You know, by the end of this month, we do it in September.
Yeah, I want to
come
be
back.
on code, brother, and a lot of brothers out here want to be on code. We just need to know the code to follow. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And
I like
something that's non-discriminatory. It's not like a religion or anything of that nature. This is something that any brother, like you said, you can meet people where they are with this.
Right.
I'm sure it's not any guys out here that want to be treated worse by women. So, you know, man, ladies and gentlemen, before I let you go, let everybody know your channel and tell them, definitely subscribe, but let everybody know your channel and where they can find you at.
So I have two active channels on YouTube. One of them is dormant, but the active channel that I have here on YouTube is two. One is the Oshay Duke Jackson main channel. So if your brothers have seen me, you know, that's where my celebrity junk is and stuff. And I also am the proud owner of the channel that I think will be more successful in the future is the Kenganda YouTube channel. It's locally based out of the Kampala, Uganda area. I believe we're the first channel. I have my whole entire editing team. 70% of them is there, where most of my work is done. In fact, they were the ones that edited your video that we did on my channel with Kevin Samuel. So we have a wonderful team out there. We create the most agribusiness content in the country right now. So we are trying to bring the whole entire Pan-African community together. You know, the African American community, the African community. So we're it's hard, but we're doing it. So that channel is interesting. It's still growing, about 37,000 subscribers. So check us out at Kenganda also.
Nice, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Oshay Duke Jackson. Thank you, sir.
All right, brother. Peace out, brother.
Blessings to you. The mic drop.